Picture this: a kitchen in Stockholm. Tuesday evening, 6:30 p.m. A Swedish family sits around a wooden dining table. The father, mid-30s, sets down his fork. "So," he says to his 7-year-old daughter, "I got my paycheck today. Want to know how much I made?" The daughter nods, curious. He tells her the exact number. Then he pulls out his phone, opens his banking app, and shows her where the money goes. Rent, groceries, savings, her school activities. The daughter asks, "Is that a lot?" He answers honestly, "It's enough for us, but less than some, more than others." The mother adds, "We're saving for a summer cabin. We need 12,000 more krona." The daughter absorbs this. No shame, no awkwardness, just information. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, an American parent would rather discuss their therapy sessions than their salary. They'll talk about sex education before they mention their credit card debt. But here's the thing: Swedish kids grow up to be among the most financially literate adults on earth. The answer is 2 words, and it changes everything. In most Western households, money is the last taboo. Parents will explain where babies come from before they explain where their paycheck goes. A study from T. Rowe Price found that 69% of American parents would rather discuss death, drugs, or politics with their kids than talk about the family's financial situation. Why? Because we've internalized a toxic belief. Talking about money will either make kids materialistic or make them anxious. We think shielding them from financial reality is protection. It's not. It's deprivation. The result, according to the National Financial Educators Council, the average American loses over $1,500 per year due to a lack of financial literacy. We graduate high school able to analyze Shakespeare but unable to read a tax form. We can recite the periodic table but can't explain compound interest. And it starts in childhood. When kids hear money doesn't grow on trees but never learn where it actually comes from, they develop magical thinking. When they see parents stress about bills behind closed doors, they absorb the anxiety without the context. When money becomes a secret, it becomes scary. But in Sweden, money isn't mysterious, it's data. And that difference creates a generational wealth gap. Here's what the research shows. In 2022, the OECD conducted the largest financial literacy study ever performed, testing over 125,000 15-year-olds across 20 countries. They measured practical money skills, budgeting, understanding interest rates, recognizing financial risks, and long-term planning. The results were stark. American teenagers ranked 13th, British teens 15th, German students came in 6th. Asian countries dominated the top 5 positions. But here's where it gets fascinating. When researchers controlled for household income and parental education, meaning they compared families with similar economic backgrounds across countries, Sweden consistently outperformed expectations. Swedish teens from middle-income families scored higher than American teens from wealthy families. The variable that kept appearing in interviews: family communication patterns about money. Swedish parents weren't richer. They weren't more educated. They were more transparent. They talked numbers at the dinner table. They involved kids in budget discussions. They answered questions other cultures considered inappropriate. The study identified this as Ekonomisk öppenhet, economic openness. It wasn't a curriculum. It wasn't a class. It was a culture, and the impact showed up decades later in adult financial outcomes. The Swedish term is Ekonomisk öppenhet. Eko no het, mesk öppenhet. It translates directly as economic openness, but that English phrase doesn't capture the full cultural weight. In Swedish culture, öppenhet isn't just transparency. It's a moral value. It's the opposite of secrecy, which Swedes view with suspicion. Ekonomisk öppenhet means treating financial information the same way you treat information about health, education, or career choices, as neutral data that affects family decisions. It's not bragging to discuss your salary. It's not oversharing to mention your mortgage payment. It's simply providing context. This traces back to a unique Swedish cultural practice called taxeringskalendern, the tax calendar. Until 1980, Sweden published everyone's income and taxes in a public directory, like a phone book. Anyone could look up anyone else's earnings. The practice ended, but the cultural residue remained. Money isn't shameful information. Here's what this looks like in practice. When Swedish families make decisions, can we afford this vacation? Or Should we buy that toy? They include children in the calculation. Not to burden them, to educate them. The kids learn that money is finite, that choices require trade-offs, that adult life involves math, not magic. Here's how this works psychologically. When money is a secret, children's brains fill the void with fantasy. They either overestimate how much their parents have, leading to entitlement, or underestimate it, leading to anxiety. Both distortions are harmful. Neuroscientist Dr. Sarah Johnson at Uppsala University studied this using fMRI scans. When children were presented with financial scenarios involving mystery amounts, your parents paid for something but won't say how much, their amygdalas, the brain's fear center, showed heightened activity. The unknown triggered stress. But when the same children were given concrete numbers, even if those numbers represented financial limitation, the prefrontal cortex activated. That's the reasoning center. Concrete information allows planning. Mystery triggers panic. Compare two scenarios. American scenario, we can't afford that, is the full explanation. The child hears rejection, not reasoning. They personalize it. Mom and dad won't buy this for me becomes, I'm not worth it. Swedish scenario. That costs 400 kronor. Our entertainment budget this month is 600 kronor. We've spent 300 already. If we buy this, we'll only have 100 left for your brother's swimming class. The child hears math, not rejection. They understand trade-offs, not worthiness. The second pillar is called Lagom, L-A-GOM. You've probably heard this word before. It's Sweden's most famous untranslatable concept. It means just the right amount, not too much, not too little. But when applied to money, Lagom becomes revolutionary. Lagom isn't frugality. It's not deprivation. It's optimization. It's the understanding that maximum spending doesn't equal maximum happiness. Swedish families practice Lagom by involving children in value assessments. This toy costs 200 krona. Will you play with it for 2 hours or 2 months? The child learns to forecast their own satisfaction. They develop an internal calculator. Western consumerism teaches more equals better. Lagom teaches enough equals better. The compound effect here is powerful. Ekonomisk öppenhet teaches kids how money works. Lagom teaches kids how to use it wisely. Together, these concepts create what researchers call financial self-efficacy, the belief that you can control your financial destiny. A study from Stockholm School of Economics tracked children raised with these principles into adulthood. By age 30, they had 40% less consumer debt than their European peers and 28% higher savings rates. Not because they earned more, because they spent consciously. The long-term data is remarkable. Dr. Anna Bergström at Stockholm School of Economics conducted a 25-year longitudinal study tracking Swedish children from age 5 through age 30. She compared 3 groups: Swedish children raised with Ekonomisk öppenhet and Lagom, Swedish children raised without these practices, and a control group from the United Kingdom. The results were published in the Journal of Economic Psychology in 2021. By age 30, the öppenhet and Lagom group showed 42% less consumer debt, 31% higher retirement savings, 28% lower financial stress scores, and here's the kicker, 17% higher self-reported life satisfaction. Dr. Bergström's team also measured something fascinating: financial decision latency. That's the time between wanting something and buying it. The Swedish group waited an average of 7.3 days before discretionary purchases over $100. The UK group, 11 hours. That pause creates compounding wealth. If you wait a week before buying, 30% of desired purchases become unnecessary. The money stays invested. Over 30 years, that delayed discipline creates hundreds of thousands in additional wealth. But none of this started with a financial lesson. It started with a parent saying a number out loud. Here's how to start tonight. First tactic: share your actual numbers at dinner. Not in a heavy family meeting way, casually, like you'd mention the weather. I got paid today. My paycheck was $3,000. After taxes, it's $2,300. Your kids don't need to understand taxes yet. They need to hear numbers stated neutrally. Second tactic: narrate financial decisions in real time. At the grocery store, these strawberries are $7. The other brand is $4. They look similar. We're choosing the $4 ones. You're not complaining about money. You're demonstrating comparison shopping. Third tactic: Create a visible family budget chart. Not a spreadsheet, a physical chart on the fridge with categories written in marker. Rent, food, savings, fun money. Update it weekly. Let kids see the numbers change. When they ask, "Can we go to the movies?" you walk to the chart together and look at the entertainment column. Fourth tactic. Give kids budget responsibility early. Starting at age 6, hand them $20 at the beginning of the month. That's their money for treats, toys, whatever. When it's gone, it's gone. No loans, no bailouts. They'll overspend the first month. They'll learn by the third month. That's education. Imagine two families. The Martinez family in California, the Andersons in Stockholm. Both middle class. Both have 2 kids under 10. Both parents work. 5 years ago, both families approached money the same way. Don't talk about it. Fast forward, the Martinez kids are 12 and 9 now. When they want something, they whine. When they don't get it, they sulk. They have no concept of household economics. When dad loses his job for 3 months, the parents hide it from the kids, maintaining the same lifestyle on credit cards to avoid difficult conversations. The stress is crushing, but the kids don't know why their parents are so tense. They just know something feels wrong. Now the Anderson kids, same ages. When they want something, they ask what it costs. Then they ask if it fits the budget. Sometimes they suggest alternatives. Can we get the cheaper version and put the difference towards summer vacation? When mom's company downsizes and her hours are cut, the family has a dinner meeting. Mom's income dropped by 800 kronor per month. We need to cut expenses by that amount. What should we reduce? The kids suggest cancelling the streaming service they barely use. They volunteer to bike to school instead of taking the bus. They understand. They contribute. They feel capable, not scared. That's the transformation, not wealth. Agency. Financial literacy isn't about being rich. It's about being free. Free from magical thinking. Free from the anxiety that comes with mystery. Swedish families aren't perfect. They face the same economic pressures as everyone else. But their kids don't personalize financial limitation. They understand it. They work with it. They develop what psychologists call an internal locus of control, the belief that their actions influence outcomes. That belief compounds over decades into wealth, yes, but also into something more valuable: peace. Your family can start this tonight. One number shared at dinner, one budget decision explained at the store, one conversation that breaks the taboo. You're not oversharing. You're not burdening your kids. You're equipping them. Ekonomisk, öppenhet, Lagom. 2 Swedish concepts that create one American dream: financial security and peace of mind. If this changed how you think about money conversations with your kids, subscribe for more Nordic wisdom that actually works. Each week, we explore another research-backed Nordic practice that challenges conventional thinking. See you next time.